Hello all my Kenvians and welcome to a new episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Hot off the heels of Legs from Here to Homeworld, we'll be watching Familiar today, and I'm still curious what the name is about. Like, really the only good guess I can make, which may not even be a good guess, would be that maybe Steven will meet a familiar of sorts, like a little pet friend of sorts. I don't know. Anyway, let's get right into it in 3, 2, 1, go.
What?
Oh! Hello.
I need a place.
Hello there.
It is her.
It has hooks. The walls are talking.
Call me lasagna. Steven, stop. Break her. Nice extraction, Pink.
Oh, Pink, you always did have quite an act for making me laugh. You're almost worth the trouble.
This is weird. That's alive too?
You're here.
Her comb's alive.
Okay.
Did you name that batch of pyrite? Fool's gold. White was furious.
I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Pyrite is fool's
Do you
gold.
remember the game we used to play here?
Self into.
What are they? They're freaking adorable.
Supposed to be Pink Diamond now?
Familiar. Why is this so familiar? Familiar, like something I used to do. They love her, but they're leaving her behind. With more important places they should be. I'll show them all the error.
That's adorable.
And stop this. I know I can do this. Just watch. I'm gonna throw a huge bar, and I'm gonna invite everyone.
Look at you go. I
Huh.
just adore you. I wish that I knew what makes you think I'm so special.
I don't know. Okay, so Familiar. I was wrong, but maybe not entirely. Like those pebbles. The first thing I want to talk about this episode, in a way, would those not be her familiars? Like they... Nah, not really. If anything, I guess you could say Lion is more of a familiar for Steven and Pink when she was Rose Quartz. So yeah, those little pebbles, you know, they're adorable, and I loved how they sing along with Steven in the song Familiar, but one thing that I'm insanely curious about, and it wasn't brought up until like during the song when Steven had a little tear fall off and it landed on one of the pebbles and the pebble came to life. So that says a few things to me. First of all, I'm going to guess that the other diamonds don't have anything like the pebbles. Like, they don't have any of them in their court. And not only did Pink and Steven does have restorative abilities with their tears and saliva, I guess, but is able to bring inanimate objects to life. Now, we knew that about the watermelons. I mean, they came to life after it grew from, or a bunch of them grew from Steven's saliva. But as far as I know, it's like he's cried before and like cried into things, as far as I can tell, and they haven't come to life. So is it perhaps a special kind of rock? Like special kinds of rocks that he's able to bring to life? Or was that pebble perhaps only sleeping? That seems very unlikely, but I don't know. That raises so many questions, and I don't know, maybe it's somewhat of an inconsistency as to what the healing tears, restorative tears can do? I just don't know. I do hope that we get to learn more about the Pebbles, though, and what their whole deal is, because they were extremely happy to see Pink back, aka Steven, but they recognize him as Pink, just like everyone does at this point. So yeah, they're probably the biggest mystery for me, is those Pebbles. They're adorable, they're cute, I love them, but what's the deal? Hey Charlie, how you doing, buddy? Charlie just came in. Alright, and speaking of things being alive, I'm also insanely curious to find out more about the living walls around the palace, I guess. The living walls and the statues, which seem to be alive. They weren't talking like the walls were on the way to Yellow's sauna, but they did look around and they're clearly alive. So what's the deal there? Are they similar to puzzles? Puzzles. Are they similar to pebbles in that they're formerly inanimate things brought to life? Are they... like, as far as the comb goes, a blues comb singing, maybe that's sort of how Lapis was originally. Well, not originally, but when we first met her, when she was stuck in the mirror and only able to communicate that way, perhaps the comb is sort of a utility gem of sorts, not one that takes on a full physical, well, or hard light form. But I got lost in my thoughts there. Anyway, it's sort of like the gem itself is attached to that comb, so that's why the comb is alive. But that doesn't explain the deal with the walls and the statues. More than anything, this episode just raises so many questions for me, and what is it that makes those walls? What is it that forms those statues? Are they like, I don't know, are they retired gems, and since they're attached to that structure, it takes on their personality to where they can serve a purpose? I don't know. But it's driving me crazy. And I want to know more about what's going on, and I really, really hope they delve into that a little bit more. And I hope it's not just something that they brush over and we never, ever get information on that. It just seems too... Maybe it's not important, but it feels important to me right now, because that could say a whole lot about just the entire civilization of what gems live in. It's like, yes, they have their soldiers. It's led by the diamonds. They're dictators and all that. But what do those things come from? Where do the walls come from? Where do the pebbles come from? Are they just regular pebbles that came to life thanks to Pink Diamond and Steven? I don't know. It won't do me any good to sort of ponder over as it is, but before I'm even close to being done here, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. I am extremely interested to know if anyone has any theories, or if there's been any information about what they might be shared. Like maybe Rebecca Sugar shared some information somewhere and it's in a blog somewhere. Let me know, and I wouldn't mind if you shared it, honestly, in the links or in the comments. But moving on from there, this is the first time that we've experienced, in my mind, an Yellow Diamond in a truly informal setting. Like, even back on Earth and on the ship on their way to Homeworld, like, she was being softer than she had ever been before, but she was still being, you know, very formal and dictatorial. That's not a word. Anyway, I hope you know what I was trying to say there. But, like, she's in a sauna. I don't fully comprehend the point of the sauna, other than just, like, to keep her gem shiny. But yeah, we get to experience Yellow in an informal setting, and she talks to Steven/Pink in an informal manner, like she laughs. She doesn't have a harsh tone to what she's saying. And that was truly something new, because even when she was talking to Blue Diamond that first time that, when Yellow Diamond sang her song, when Steven and Greg escaped from the zoo, like, even then, like, she still had a harsh tone about her. She still had a very business-like tone about her. It's like, you know, she was trying to be somewhat soft for Blue, but it was still just very strict. So there's so much more I'm interested in seeing, so much more I want to see of these characters' personalities, and I hope we get to. I really do. Which also brings us to Blue Diamond, and her at least taking the step of referring to Steven as Steven. She seems to think it's just a name that Pink made up as one of her games, being silly, but it's still a step. It's not understanding, but it's in the right-ish direction. So yeah, and before, like, he actually talks to Blue Diamond, just a little mention of Blue Pearl to Pearl is just welcome back. And I don't know if there was any sort of implication meant there, but in my mind it seemed sort of sweet. Like, whereas Yellow seems to be kind of stuck up, maybe? Like, Blue Diamond seems to be, or she portrays somewhat more of an empathetic aura, I guess you might say. So her saying welcome back, I feel like, from my perspective, it seemed like maybe her and Pearl were kind of friends at one point in the past. I have no actual clue if that's true, but yeah, I like to think of it that way. But moving on from there, the concept of Pink's court, which, you know, obviously when Pearl said that, she thought of the others and decided to, because, you know, the crystal gems are Pink's court. It's like, you know, her followers, the crystal gems. But, like, who else might be in Pink's army at this point? Like, not necessarily a group that would consider themselves crystal gems, but would consider themselves loyal to Steven/Pink over yellow, blue, or maybe even white. And if that does come about, if we do see more of Pink's court, her followers, would they perhaps become crystal gems? I don't... maybe that's a silly question even, but there's just so many things that I'm curious about, and so many things I hope they explain to at least some degree on the show. But yeah, from there we got into the song Familiar, which was a gorgeous song, and it resulted in not only some understanding as to what the point of the title Familiar is, but also it resulted in us getting Steven having his own version of Pink Diamond's armor? Or suit, at least? Yeah, but that being... the whole idea of being familiar is like, Steven... we experience Steven's growth. I mean... at the very beginning, he couldn't summon any of his weapons. He wasn't an active member of the Crystal Gems because he wasn't able to participate in battles. But despite his youth, as he says himself, him being annoying, you know, he was able to work through that and brought their family together. Like, from a pretty broken family to a degree with, you know, they had their leader Garnet, but I mean, the family has just come so far in the course of the show that he has experience in what Pink Diamond was going through. She was misunderstood. She was looked down on, seen as a lesser by the other diamonds, which, you know, to a degree, that's accurate for what Steven went through. It's like, you know, he was just a kid. He couldn't really do anything. To a degree, they probably did look down on him. I mean, including but not limited to the fact that he wasn't Rose Garnet. Or Pink Diamond, as we know now. So, I love the concept of familiarity they went with there, and just... I'm truly intrigued to see how this might go. I'm gonna guess it doesn't go well, necessarily. I don't know, maybe he'll win over Yellow and Blue Diamond. But I have a feeling that at the very least, White is going to be a problem. Oh, and I completely skipped over the aspect of Pink's job. Is like she wasn't a conqueror except for that first colony she did. She was the party planner, essentially. She would host these grand balls in celebration of the conquering that Yellow, Blue, and White would do. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see how Steven's plan pans out over the course of the next episode, which will be Together Alone, which... obviously, that's a bit of a mirroring of Alone Together. And that's the first time that... that episode was the first time that Connie and Steven fused, unless I'm mistaken. So I'm guessing that's going to come into play at some point. Knowing how fusions are treated, like impure fusions are treated on Homeworld, I don't know, I'm curious to see what might happen there. Like, since it's Pink Diamond, hi buddy, since it's Pink Diamond, will the Diamonds, upon potentially seeing Stevani, have some leniency? Or will it just make everything go haywire and all of Steven's plans, potential plans, just kind of go up in smoke? I don't know, but there's only one way to find out, and that is to watch the next episode, Together Alone, which I will be doing a little bit later today. Everyone, thank you so much for being here for this episode of Discovering Steven Universe. I am very interested to hear your thoughts on this episode, what I've had to say, and, you know, of course, like I mentioned earlier, if there is any information about, like, what the deal is with the pebbles and the walls and the statues, I'm really intrigued to know more, if there does happen to be any more information about it out there. But we're one step closer to being caught up, and I think Together Alone, and then there's one more episode that came out, I want to say just a few days ago. 2 days ago. So I'll be finding that and figuring out how to watch it and record it. But yeah, almost caught up. I'm excited. So until next time, everyone, I am Papa Ken, and I will see you on the next episode.